السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا وسيئات أعمالنا من يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. All praise is due to Allah. We seek refuge with Allah from our sins and bad deeds. He who is guided by Allah indeed has been guided, and he who is misguided, only Allah Azza wa Jal can guide him. And I bear witness that there are no deities to be worshipped except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I bear witness that Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the messenger of Allah. May Allah's peace and blessings be upon Sayyidina Muhammad, upon his family, upon his companions, and upon those who follow his sunnah until the day of judgment. The best words are the words of Allah, and the best guidance is the guidance of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the Quran gives us the events of those who are upright and how they dealt in their lives and the lives of others that are around them. And we have the examples of the prophets of Allah and others individuals as well who are not prophets or messengers. And also we have the example of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam entered Medina, he entered Medina as a person who is going to be a leader of the community in all aspects of life, religiously, and once we say religiously, that means it's all aspects of life. These days we say religiously and politically and economy-wise or whatever, there is no separation. Those from day one in Medina, they understood Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is entering Medina and he's going to be in charge of everything, all aspects of life. And before Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, he did go outside, send message outside of Medina to nations and so forth. And the companions, as after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after they went out of Medina to tell people about La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, the nations and civilizations was eventually, little by little, not little, very quickly, were following the way of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And it's always amazing to know that there were very small number, okay, who took charge of a vast area of the earth, okay, and you wonder how this happened and how it is a miracle by all standard, okay. But the issue, among many issues, but the principle was, it is not the Muslimin opening a land and they have a barrier or a boundary between them and this land. So no, the land is open and becomes open, a land that part of the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam immediately. So there is no border, there was no borders. And it is a land to implement and to take this way of life as a way of life. And no pressure on them to do certain things a certain way, except it is the halal and haram within some frame of work. But if they had certain ways of life that they used to, that's not conflicting with Islam, then they're welcome to use. If they have, in the matter of fact, in the time of Umar radiallahu anhu, he adopted many of the Persians' way of conducting things and put it down as a way to conduct his own management skills or styles, if you will, and so forth. There was nothing wrong with that. But the attitude, this is the point of the khutbah, the attitude, you're not going to a foreign land and it becomes foreign. No, you're going to a land that, yes, foreign to you, but is no longer it is a foreign land. This attitude that all mankind is the same. They did not go in and see what kind of people, according to their color of skin or the language of the use or the custom that they carry on and so forth. No. All mankind is the same. Because the rhetoric that we hear these days, right, in the media of a camp saying, clearly saying that a certain group, they have the right more than other group. And they don't mind saying that, okay, or have superiority somehow, okay? And this land that we're in is built up, those who build it are almost owning it now, and it is clearly like separation like that. And how the other camp is given the perception that there is equality and so forth, and we all alike and so forth. But it is not the reality. Why? Because they speak that way within the boundary. But outside of the boundary, both camps, they have the same attitude, right? So you go, there is a freedom of this, there is a democracy of this, there is a way of system and management and so forth and so on. And the big issue is that the transfer of power that has to be in a way of smooth and so forth and so on. And when you are beat, you leave, and another person who won will take over. And this is the sign of being civilized and so forth, and they're proud of saying that over and over again. This is who we are and so forth. But yet outside of the boundary, they get somebody to put it somewhere for many years and many 20, 30, 40, 50 years, and make sure that no one else will take it. Why? Because it's easy to deal with them. So what happened to these values? Stopped here. But outside, no. Why? Because there is an interest in justice, in being. No, that's a word I used. It was wrong. There is an interest to be unjust, outside of the boundary. So there is two scales that's been used, right? I used that a scale of a certain area, a certain geographical area, certain people, but it is because there is a benefit of that. But however, in some other place or people or other generations somewhere of other people, these values stops. And the benefit and the interest, it changes. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala throughout the Quran show us that the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is truly, everybody is the same. Whether within your boundary or outside of your boundary, they are the same. They are human beings. And there is no compulsion in any other, in any way whatsoever, in a way of worshiping Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So if you if you're not a Muslim, you are held to a standard the same as a Muslim, or you're looked at as a person who is free within this system and free to carry whatever it is you're carrying. Yusuf alayhi salam, Sayyidina Yusuf alayhi salam, he was a foreigner. He was a foreigner in a land of Egypt. And he took leadership, a big role of the leadership in Egypt. And did the people of Egypt, because he was just and so forth, did they become a Muslim? No, they didn't. Did they adopt the way of Yusuf alayhi salam and so forth? No. Did he make any difference between them? And no. He worked so hard so the famine will not happen. Worked so hard, even though it doesn't matter what these people are, they were still worshiping this and that and idols and so forth. But there is the humanity issue here. There is an issue that needs to be taken care of. So he took care of it without any conditions at all. We have evidence of the time of Musa alayhi salam. They were reminded with the time of Yusuf. Right? They were reminded with the time of Yusuf, okay, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not send a messenger after him, and here is a messenger after Yusuf alayhi salam. So in their history, they knew, at the time of Musa alayhi salam, of course they knew about Yusuf alayhi salam and so forth. But the issue here is there was no double standard in any way, shape or form. And he did so much work himself. He did not take it as someone who is in his quarter, if you will, quarters of luxury, and then he just sending people to manage. No, he managed things himself. And we have the evidence that in the Quran, when he tells the workers, you do this and you do that, you bring that, you don't allow this, you allow this, and so forth. He was hands-on in everything. And what is this energy coming? It's coming because he's doing it in a human way here. There is a humanitarian issue here that needs to be taken care of. We have the example of Dhul-Qarnayn. Dhul-Qarnayn, when he went to a people and the people said, Ya'juj and Ma'juj is coming and causing a lot of mischief here, and help us with them. So how did he help? Okay. He helped in so much effort, and his heart was in the work. And he would, the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put it in the Quran, so, أَعِنُونِي بِقُوَّةٍ, help me with power here. أَجْعَلْ بَيْنَكُمْ وَبَيْنَهُمْ رَدْمًا, I put between you and them a radm. Like he said that what the project is going to do. But he said, help me. Okay? He did not just tell them, go ahead and give you instructions and you do this and that. Okay? No, he did not just supervise. He helped with his people and himself. Okay, Atuni zubar al-hadid. Atuni, bring me. So he got them to work. Ufrigh alayhi qitra. I will pour qitra upon it, copper on this. Okay? Qala anfukhu. Say blow. So he's giving them a command to do work, right? Hatta idha ja'alahu nar. Until when he made it fire, right? So you find this switch. When you do this, and I'm doing that now. And then when I'm done that, you do this, and I'll be doing this. Okay, you find this energy of working together and teaching them, and so forth and so on. And then what happened after this? He looked at the wall and says, "Hada rahmatun min Rabbi." This is a rahmah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he turned around and left. That's it. He took his people and left. Okay, so what is that? It is that there is a need, and it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what religion you carry, it doesn't matter what way you do and so forth, but I'll tell you my way and so forth, fine, but it's not a condition that if you don't follow me, I'm going to deal with you differently and so forth. Or what is it that you have that I'm going to take? Okay, what is it, what's in it for me? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us before that, He went to people, He looked at them, turned around and walked away, did not do anything at all, because they were very primitive. Very vulnerable and primitive. That is a gold mine to those who are saying, we have the way of our life, but let me teach you by the way, and I want this and that and so forth. No, He left them as they are, and He went away. And the first one, he had to put a line, to draw a line. There are some who are doing bad, some are doing good, and there's a mischief going, and no, I'm going to hit the hand of those who are doing bad. Okay, and then they will go to Allah, and Allah will punish them more. And those who are doing good, I'm going to reward them, and so forth. But what's in it for him? It was nothing. Nothing. It is, what's in it for him is he's doing the work of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He does not have, two measures he measures with. Okay, this is who we should be in all aspects of life. Okay, that when you see the companions, the Khilafah al-Rashida, that was their way. Okay, that just in a few years, from Morocco to China, the door of China is the Muslim land. Okay, that all the borders fell. And Muslims do not mind. That's the purpose. Just it's all people who have, now they have choices and so forth. And this is the way we're going to conduct ourselves, and the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the wahy was there. The wahy had a value. Right? So everything was done according to the wahy, according to the way, the revelation. And the value of the revelation is number one. There's nothing could be done without the revelation. That's it. That is the point of starting. Okay, if we don't have that point of starting, then everything else will fall into pieces. And what happened to the Muslim Ummah? It is that we reached the point that the wahy was no longer looked at the wahy as it is. Our way of life, and then things just fell apart. That is obvious. And similarly with us as individuals, as family, as communities, as nations, it is the same thing. How much to value al-wahy? When you say قال الله وقال الرسول, okay? When you see this is what happened during Rasulullah sallallahu, when you see the Sahaba, they done this and left that. How much do we value that? Okay? You tell me how much you value that, you'll know what your future looks like. Because Allah, this is a way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts it in the Quran. Okay? Meaning it's a sunnah on earth that this is the way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give you a cause and effect in this. So one time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm not going to change what's happening to people unless they change what's happening with themselves. And that is in a way that meaning they are doing, what's happening to them is really bad. And it's not going to change unless they change what's happening within themselves. And another time Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm not going to change a bounty that I'm given on people unless they change what's happening within themselves. In other words, when you are in a good time, and everything is smooth and so forth. Allah will keep it that way for you unless you change what's happening with yourself, and then it will change. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling you what your behavior and what's going to happen, and what's going to happen is according to your behavior. In what way? In the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put, just like the sun comes up from the east and sits in the west. This is how things are. So you could see this. You could see that. So back to the dynamic that we are living within the local or issues and so forth. With this measuring with two different measures, when it is clear like that, okay, then the result is going to be. It's not going to be pretty, okay. That does not happen that way, okay. When I see what's in it for me, and carry values, and then when I move outside of my boundary, the values changes and so forth. No, that is not the way of Allah. This is not the way of justice for a person who knows what justice is. It's very simple, and when Rasulullah ﷺ stood in front of the Muslimin, the Sahaba in Arafah, he talk about the Arabs and the non-Arabs, right? There's لا فضل لعربية على عجمي. There is no preference from an Arab over a non-Arab, okay? And that is what? That is nationality, right? Or a color, this color of skin and that color of skin. That's what you look like, okay, and so forth. They're all the same. So in other words, there's no boundary here. Say you're an Arab, therefore you're such and such. No, outside of being an Arab, also there is no difference between you and them, okay, and they are all equal with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said to us clearly, okay, that who is better with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay? Atqakum, the one who has more taqwa, the one who is conscious of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one who realizes that all the value is the way, the path that Allah put, and that is the valuable and the value that one should carry. And that is the benefit in this life and in the hereafter. This is the gift that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. That the mindset that one should be in. That the mindset that says that I'm looking at everyone, and everyone is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will deal everyone according to how they understand this concept and how they implement it in their lives. That the value is one standard. The nur, the light is one. Allah puts it in a single form in the Quran. And darkness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala puts it dhulumat. That dhulumat, the many darkness, you meaning that yes, they can go astray in many ways. But all those who are going astray in many ways, they want the light, they don't choose their own light, the light will be given to them. And if they choose it and choose to take it, Allah will help them to achieve the light that they carry. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم فادعوه يستجب لكم. الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين ورحمة الله للعالمين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن تبعه إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، اللهم أنت أعلم بما في قلوبنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا. اللهم أنت أعلم بحاجتنا منا فاقضها لنا. اللهم أنت أعلم بسرنا وعلانيتنا فتقبل معذرتنا. اللهم أرنا الحق حقا وارزقنا اتباعه، وأرنا الباطل باطلا وارزقنا اجتنابه. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم آت نفوسنا تقواها وزكها أنت خير من زكاها أنت وليها ومولاها. وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وقوموا إلى الصلاة يرحمكم الله. أقم الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح قد قامت الصلاة قد قامت الصلاة الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله
لا إله إلا الله. استووا واعتدلوا. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. والتين والزيتون وطور سينين وهذا البلد الأمين لقد خلقنا الإنسان في أحسن تقويم ثم رددناه أسفل سافلين إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات فلهم أجر غير ممنون فما يكذبك بعد بالدين أليس الله بأحكم الحاكمين. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.